Hello everyone. Moving on with our work, to have a basic breakdown, we are building a small system that is for authentication. It's going to have its own access control level where we'll have three different types of access. We have the medical team, the super admin, and the patient. So far, we have created a few files and we have built our structure to a point. We've talked about variables, data types, arrays, and then now we are going to operations. From our resource that we've been using for this tutorial, this is operations here. There are different operations you can perform. You use operators to perform operations. The most popular operations are the arithmetic operations here, which are additions, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and exponential. You can, of course, go over this and try them out as you want. You can also see the other operations. We've already used some of these operations. We've used assigning operation at least. And you can see all these operations there. You can still go over them too. We've also used this, the comparison operation for equals, which we used in our registration process. That is here. So we are checking if this is equal to this. The difference between this and this is identical will check the data type of the two sides of the sign. So on this side, we check the data type, and on this side, it checks data type. Okay, so this is not equal to, this is checking if two variables are not equal. This is also checking if they are not equal. I've not really had to use this before. I always use this. Then we have not identical, which is just the same as this. It also checks the data type. Moving on, we have the greater than, we have the less than, we have the greater than or equal to. This is just basic arithmetic. You can go over them if you want. We have the increment, we have the post increment, pre, and then pre-increment. Increment obviously means to increase something. Decrement means to decrease it. Pre-increment means increase it before. Increase it, then return the value. This means the next one means return the value, then increase it. I mean, it's that simple. The same applies here. Reduce it, then return the value, and so on and so forth. And then we have the logic operators. We'll be using this very well, but for now, just go over the material. String operators, we've already talked about concatenation. We've already talked about these two. Maybe that's another tutorial, but you can go over this material. Then we have array operations, which I would will be using to operations in array are also very similar to what we already talked about. So basically, you can go through all this. Now, the focus I want to have, what I want to focus on right now is this aspect. Remember what we did here, where we were trying to check if our first name is empty, and then we had to create a new line for each of them. This is a lot of work. What we can do is to perform that operation right here. So the ternary operator allows you to perform the if statement on a single line. So let's create a new. Well, I have a page already for operations. So this statement, I'm going to close this and reopen it. I think there's something wrong with that file. It's better now. So this statement that says first name, if I need my if statement, if my first name is empty, why not just copy it? Right, let's just copy it from here. So this statement that is checking, let's add our tag here because the coloring is really okay. This is better. So this statement is checking if first name is empty. Can also be written as first name empty. So this is saying if first name is empty, return this. So I'm going to do that here. And then my else statement would be do nothing. For now, I'm just going to say that right now, this statement, this is the same thing as this. If first name, this is the question saying if first name is empty, if this side is true, then do this. Otherwise, do this. So it's really that easy. Um, there is also the no well there is also this. You can check it out and you can try it all out. So let's apply this that we just learned for our page here. Let's perform all these checks right here. So what we are going to do is to change the method of testing. Let's change the method of testing. Let's say we have a single variable that says error count, and we are going to make it 0. And here on my statement here, I'm going to say if this is empty, then um, increase my error count as error count by 1. Remember we learned about this. Otherwise, uh, error count is still going to be the same. Well, this is going to be a problem because now let me explain what I just did here. This statement right here looks a little complex, but it's not. So focus on this side first. This side is checking if this variable here is equal to empty. If it is empty, then error count is going to be increased by 1. If it is not empty, error count is going to be the same. But the problem is the result from this particular statement, this whole statement here, is being assigned to this variable. Okay, so this is going to be a problem because in the end, first name becomes the value of error count, which is not what we want. So what we can do is, let's see how we can make that work. I'm going to undo all that I've done and comment this out. What we can do is, let's see. Okay, I'm going to try to make it easier because I want it to be on the same line. So let's say I do this still. So if it is not empty, I can do this. If it is not empty, then the value should be this. Otherwise, then the value would be error count. I mean, that does not really matter at this point. Increased by 1. Okay, so the other way around, what I'm doing right now is I'm checking if this is not empty, then assign this value to this. Otherwise, if it is empty, increase error count by 1. Of course, this error count is still going to be assigned to this, but we don't really care. It doesn't matter. It's fine. So we can do the same thing for all of our fields. We're just going to do a bit of copying and pasting here. So you can obviously do this for the rest. Yeah, you can do it for the rest too. And after, I'm going to say if error count is greater than 0, that means there is an error somewhere. Then redirect back and display error. Otherwise, continue to database. Okay, it's a little late, so I'm trying to finish this today. Just pardon all the errors I've been making. All right, so we've been able to reduce. Well, of course, not really reduce. I just deleted the important things. Okay, this should be up here. And we can still carry out all those checks for the other fields too. I'm going to take this out, so I'll perform this outside of the video. So you can also do it. What we are doing right now is we are checking if there is an error somewhere. Of course, you can still expand this to produce better error messages because this could have still been an array. So we can still make it an array. We can still say array. And then here we can say if there is an error, then my array at first name should be equal to Okay, this is getting a little too complex, but I'm going to leave it this way for now. Then we'll expand it in the next videos. So this is checking if any field is empty, and then we are checking if there's any error in any field. Our only error we're checking right now, it should be 0, not error count, not array. So the only error we're checking right now is if any of the fields are empty. If they are empty, it's going to redirect them back to the registration page here and display the error message, which is the next thing we're going to be doing, how to redirect back to the page and display the error message, and if possible, keep their input so they don't have to refill the form again. Otherwise, continue to save into database. So I'm going to remove all this because we don't need it. And I'm going to move this up here to data validation. Right, let's do a little cleanup. Then we'll continue from here in our next tutorial.